The artisanal and small-scale mining sector continues to grow in Uganda, largely due to increasing mineral prices. With a significant proportion opting for rudimentary methods, approximately 90% of mineral production is attributed to artisanal and small-scale mining, directly benefiting an estimated 4.2 million Ugandans. The sector requires precautions to ensure the safety of the environment and the population, as mineral fields often contain nuclear substances that emit radiation. Much of the waste generated from mining fields is categorized as contaminated waste under the National Environment Act.
Now, NEMA will definitely mostly focus on prevention of pollution from radioactive sources. So whatever activity is happening, we ensure that the environment and the public health is safeguarded from the outcome of such activities, which the norm is one of the outputs of such minerals and mining activities.
Experts in nuclear energy argue that areas where exploration of minerals containing radioactive substances occurs require proper regulation to address the health implications associated with exposure to high doses of radiation.
Radiation can kill the cells which are cancerous. That is an advantage, but it can also cause a danger to my body by creating a cancerous cell. When you look at a cell, when it divides into two, one part can go to the other side with other components that it grows up, then also the other component goes the other side. So during the cell division, a single cell can divide into two with other maybe unifying component, and then you have an animal with the two heads or with the organs which are not well developed. Because we have cases of trainees coming co-joined. So such twins who are co-joined may have resulted into a change during the mutation, during the early stages of development of the fetus.
The Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development is responsible for monitoring and measuring mining areas with radioactive levels that require follow-up actions.
We are measuring radiation from the rocks, and some of the levels may be high. You cannot be overexposed to those radiations. If you get exposed for some time, it may be hazardous to you. So the regulations is handy in addressing these issues. With the gadgets that we have now acquired, say the dosimeters, the scintillometers, the gamma ray spectrometers, we go to these mines and measure, even if it's not uranium mine, if it is a copper mine, we measure to see the radiation. Not only that, in our laboratories we do it to see whether the chemist is exposed to the radiation. So they work with rocks coming from very many areas around Uganda. So you have to know whether your environment is radioactive. So in so doing, if we go to these mines, actually with this law, it is now imminent that we need to monitor where people are mining, breaking rocks to see the radiation.
The National Environment Management Authority involves the public in endorsing all activities within the environment through the Environment Social Impact Assessment, which assesses potential impacts before endorsing any mining activity.
In terms of, is it safe? What proximity is it to the community, to their resources, like the water sources, potential areas which can get contaminated. So our approval is a certificate, but with conditions that they must comply to. So for such mining activities, we will require some baseline measurements. So when they start, we condition them to continue monitoring, and we continue to see how are they deviating or impacting the environment. So it's not a one-off. Annually, they do what is called environment audit, and they submit such report to NEMA. So we keep monitoring them. If they are going off, like not complying to our conditions, to our laws, we have the right to stop the activity.
While naturally occurring radioactive materials may not emit significant levels of radiation, the Atomic Energy Council is charged with carrying out assessment of radioactivity in natural materials.
But doesn't mean less risk, doesn't mean no risk. Because cumulatively, it can end up in being risky. So we don't need to take anything for granted that is of no importance or no significance.
Deogratias Luwalira, the CEO for the Atomic Energy Council, advocates for safety measures to be implemented to improve and achieve minimum safety precautions for those working in mining fields.
So as of now, the situation is not the best. There's a lot to be done because many people are not protected, but they work, so they get exposed. Many people, they don't have procedures, protocols to guide them. So there's a risk of them being exposed. But as a council, we are coming up with a regulation to address all those mishaps, say that there's a general guidance, there's a legal framework for them, so that they may be guided of how they should operate.
The Atomic Energy Council conducts stakeholder engagements to sensitize about the peaceful application of nuclear energy while considering the safety of the population. Ivan Kahwa, UBC News.
But I suspect there must be another one.